It's quite obvious and abundantly clear to us that Mr. Museveni fears the people. That's the reason he's using iron fists against the hard-pressed street vendors. That's why he's oppressing the Boda cycle, because he fears them. He knows. He reads the trend in all these dictatorships. What happened in Sri Lanka, rather what happened in Sri Lanka, and what has been happening elsewhere, what happened to Ben Ali after Boaziz got involved in that act of self-immolation in Tunisia, what has been happening generally in Arab Spring. He knows that. And that's the reason he fears street vendors, the reason he fears Boda Boda operators, the reason he fears market, generally the urban poor. He fears the urban poor. He knows how potent they are, how powerful they are, how lethal they can be against authoritarianism. He is aware. And that's why he wants to clamp on them. He wants to tighten the noose, to harden the nuts against them. That is the reason. But we are also ready. We are ready to push back. And that's the reason we are mobilizing the hard-pressed people, the oppressed ones, to rise to the occasion, and also taking these other legal measures. So it's a multi-pronged approach we are adopting. And you trust us, we shall overcome this, I'm quite confident.
In any way, KCCA is not mandated in any way to train or even sensitize motorists. That is entirely the work of the Ministry of Works and Transport. The company UDISA talked about is doing the issue of training motorists in order to qualify to get driving licenses or riding permits. They are not KCCA levies, they are not KCCA dues, and in any way, this has nothing to do with the institution of KCCA, but the Ministry of Works and Transport that is mandated to license motorists before they get on the road in order to secure first road users and other motorists who are on the road. So I think the road mayor was misinformed on this issue. It has nothing to do with the government. It has nothing to do with the KCCA. It has nothing to do with the minister or even I myself. Those who have responded and those who are in the channel of submitting their forms for admission, because the biggest challenge we have is that 90% of Bodabodas are not licensed, like they don't have permits. It's the biggest number in the sector. So we have so far more than 5,000 who have applied, and the number is growing ever since we started this campaign. And we are now dealing with the myths that are now coming out. Some were already opting out because of the Lord Mayor's statements yesterday. And we are reaffirming that position that we are going to negotiate with every stakeholder for this exercise to continue, not to stop.
Not seated. We have already explained, even in the pleadings we put in court, before court yesterday, we explained the steps so far taken and the measures we have already undertaken, including enacting ordinances, because there are ordinances in the pipeline, in the offing. An ordinance in regard to management and the public transport in Kampala, Bodabodas, matatus, and whatnot. And the ordinance to consolidate all the laws relating to street vending. Actually, the law provides for licensing as a tool for regulating street vending, and so on and so forth. So we have taken all these measures, but they have all been frustrated or thwarted by this group, these masqueraders. They are just cashing in on the crisis we have. They are not about organizing trade order. They are not about organizing the taxi, rather the Boda Boda industry. No. No. Because even their operations, I'm telling you, just try to do a random survey and ask, how did they come into existence? Just ask yourself, how did they emerge anyway? How did they start? Because initially they ought even to have had a meeting. Where did they sit? Where did the meeting sit to start these operations?
The issue of Boda Boda is exceptional and sophisticated to deal with if you work in isolation of the other partners, and in which case the partners in this case are the public and the other political players involved. It is easy for a Boda Boda to run away, but it is hard for a car to disappear completely or to commit a crime twice in a car and it is not got. So the issue of Boda Boda, because it involves passengers, it involves people using them privately as means of transport, it involves different institutions, including media, that use it as transport. So it is a measure, first of all, to isolate a number that is informally known but also formally known, which are the Boda Bodas. As we speak today, every motorcycle is a Boda Boda, which is not true. The Boda Boda is now recognized as a form of employment, as a form of formal, business that must be put to order in order to separate it from the other users of motorcycles. And also, what is embedded in this is that we want passengers to get on motorcycles that have been licensed, that have been recognized, and that have been allowed to go on the road and do that specific job, having qualified them, which is not the case today. The case today is everyone who can get a motorcycle and can pace it moving, that person goes and starts carrying passengers, which is a risk to life, which is a risk to property, but also which is a risk to the economy in one way or the other.
What role has the army got to do, or what business has the army got to do with the trade order, with the organization of street vending, or Boda Boda cyclists? So is this now a military operation? That is the question we are asking. So trade order is now a military operation. Streamlining the Boda Boda industry is a military operation. I need to pose this question. I want to get answers for these questions.
The Lord Mayor is an office, it's not an individual. And since the Lord Mayor is an office, we have gone through the official channels of the office to talk to the individual who sits in the Lord Mayor's office, who is Mr. Lukwago. He is at liberty to agree to meet with us, and he's also at liberty to refuse to meet with us. It is entirely with him, but we have done our efforts. Being city administrators under the same law, we think the spirit of administration should be harmonized and not running to courts of law, not running to the public to report what has happened or what has not happened in the administration room, but also we need to create this channel of communication between him and our offices, not to seem as if they are political offices, but administrative units which must work hand in hand.
I am not ready to meet Chiyimba Abudu, who is a self-styled patron of the Boda, because he was not elected by anyone. I will not meet Mutegombo of Udisa, because he's a dealer who is just for business. His is just business. Chiyimba is about business. I'm not ready to meet those ones. For the ministers, Chofa Togabi and his team and the RCCs, the BURORAs, the doors are open at State Hall. They should come to council and explain what they are doing. But before they do that, first and foremost, they must halt all these operations. The registration exercise, the collection of 65,000 from the Boda Boda cycles must stop forthwith. We shall slam the doors in their face if they insist on collecting and they want to come and meet us. So it cannot act both ways. They have to first halt the processes, the exercises. I am saying the extortion must stop before they seek to engage us. The 60,000, no, the collection of 65,000 must be halted before they knock at our doors. They should be ready to refund the money they have so far collected. They should be ready to give accountability. How they have disbursed that money, who authorized them to do it, and so on and so forth. I've not received it. I have not been, my office has not received that communication they are talking about. My office has not received that communication they are talking about. But all I'm saying, these two, including the Minister for Kampala, all the RCCs, the ministers and the RCCs, they are welcome as long as they comply with what the terms we have set. They should halt the process. They should halt that illegal fee of 65,000. That must be stopped. And they should be ready to account for the money so far collected. I am telling you, we are going to fight Chiyimba Abdu. We are going to fight Mutegombwa. We are going to fight BURORA. We are going to fight Chofato Gabia and the entire team. We are going to fight them. We are not going to give them space. And they must refund what they have collected.